In this tutorial video, we're going to look at mostly setting up chargeable items in the system, rates basically. And we're in the settings here, up the top right corner within the tracking system. So to nav you back here after you've logged in, we'll just do that. So I'll just go back to the calendar view. Obviously when we load in, every time we jump here. Now for someone that's working in the tracking system a lot, of course you'd have to have the correct user access to get here. So if you can't get in, you need to talk to your senior administration person about that. But yeah, when we do go there, we're on the calendar view. On the top here we've got tabs. We go to the double sign that says tracking. We click on that. It loads us up in the tracking system. It might default to a screen you're last on. The place we're trying to go to is settings, top right. Click settings, and then here we've got it. I'm not going to go into the system settings too much because that's already in a video off the calendar which you can watch separate to this, and it's also on this playlist. So we're going to focus on the rates and the products. Two things that happen in traffic management. Generally, we're always charging out TTM equipment, signs, cones, stands, and all that sort of jazz. That's your products. And in here, we've got a whole lot of default stuff, so you don't have to start from scratch. Do with that what you please. On the right-hand side, you can delete them. You can edit them. Change the rates. We've just thrown some imaginary rates in there. You're not obligated to run off those. We're just showing you this as an example. Any chart of account codes, obviously accounted would make sense to all this. You can put that in there if you're integrating to the likes of Xero, and whether you want it available to the driver or not. Now, having that unticked will mean they don't see it when they're recording a task. So if they're recording a task and you want them to see this equipment all the time and not hidden, you really should have that turned on, like this one here. Something you want them to see. It's as simple as that. Yeah, you're just basically putting in the title, what it is, and all the rest of it. Pretty self-explanatory. To add a new item, you click the add at the top and throw that in there, up here. Remember, when you're adding something, to make it nice and visual and easy for your staff, do add a picture in there. It's makes a lot of sense to add a picture. So click, grab from your computer, any image you want. You can also set the order. This is quite cool, this we set order thing, because how the field workers get it is based on this order. So if you want to move that order around to the things that are used the most common to the top and the least common to the bottom, then that's how you would do that. If you want to export all this into a spreadsheet, you can do that for whatever purpose you might want to do that. And got a wee refresh button here. That's about that. Or you can use the search tool to look for something in particular and it'll narrow it down. So that's setting up all the things you charge out. You can do that how you please. If you're just using charge out hourly rates and you don't care about this stuff, then I guess it's less important for you to worry about it. But I would highly recommend putting it in there, because even if you're using hourly rates or day rates, if the staff have recorded it down on the system, you'll be able to see this in the calendar. So if we go back to the calendar and they've left equipment on site, you're going to see all the wee tasks as orange. And at any point, you can go in there and go into the view the job or equipment on site, and it's going to give you an overview if there's any equipment on site. So it really is important to still record it down, because this is managing if it's left out, you'll be notified and all the rest of it. And you can just ignore it when you get to the billing point of view, but it's keeping track of your inventory. It's pretty important stuff to us. Anyway, for more depth information on that, you can reach out, but let's get back to what we're originally talking about. I think that pretty much summarizes everything here. You've got a big list and you can pick what you want to be displayed, again, by going into what ones are visible there and setting those up. Right, so if we go back to settings and we go into rates, this is, I guess, the main one. So when they record a task, which will end with doing that to jimmy up where this is coming from, so you can correlate where the information is coming from, they're selecting a rate or a vehicle, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it a truck named Nissan, and they select Nissan, and then in the background you have a rate applicable to that, then that's up to you. You can then add client specific rates, which we'll get into in a second, and you can edit them at any time. The rates, these are the rates you're charging your clients. Don't worry, your staff will not see these. That's why they're set to basic users, basic user plus only. If you want to delete them, you can do all that here, and then if you really want to search for anything in here, you can just search for it because you want to get to it quicker. And then you can also realign the order, and that order again is to do with what the staff see as well, or what you're seeing here, I should say. Sorry. So that's the main crux of it. If you have just a base rate of, say, a sign truck with one man, and you can have incorporating the sign truck by itself and not the man, have the individual, whatever you want, you just make it yours. But anyway, you can click this wee plus button. So you might have had a base rate of that amount, but for the certain client in your system, ACME, you might want to go and specify that they get a certain percentage, or they get a certain rate that's less. So when you're billing out, it's already automated that in the background, that you remember what special rates you're doing. So that's a cool feature. Again, you can export this into a list and all that sort of jazz. That's the crux of it. And then obviously you've got clients rates, which is kind of what we just touched on. And when you're in here, if you've got special rates you give clients, you can set them up. Base rate, let's say for example was 95, everyone gets that, but they get a special rate. You can put that in here, and then a lot of the automation will happen for you when you get to do the beast mode. Or you could go percentage instead. So really, that's up to you. Okay, I'm going to go back to the calendar for a second. I just want to show you this last step of what I was trying to correlate. It's really just to join the dots in your mind that when the staff are recording time to a job, they're creating a task like this. This flow might change a little bit depending on where the system's at, but in general, just focus more on what I'm doing here than the steps before I got here, is that there goes your rate. So if you set up that, you're not going to see any pricing. But now, because your staff's left that truck, when you come to bill out the job, that all the hours they clock to that job, including that rate, are all magically ready to go on invoice. No adding up, working out what they did, and in beast mode, we call it, you can edit and manipulate all that and override if you want at a later stage. But this is just setting up a really good fluid tracking system to make invoicing easier. And then of course, you do the usual here. There's a YouTube icon in here if you go do this on yours, which will actually bring up more detail on creating this task. It's not showing to create task, I just want you to connect the dots. So please watch the separate video for that. So when they go to edit equipment, hence why I'm just going quickly, this is what they get. And when I said what order they're going to see it on their phone, this is the order. They won't see the prices. This is what the name will be. This is what the picture will be on the left. And this is how they'll be adding equipment to your thing. So that's the main thing. Anything that you didn't highlight won't be shown there. They would have to go down and do this, and that shows the full list. But that's clunky. If you want it available to the worker, you have that set how we showed you before. So yeah, that's the basics of setting up your rates. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've got any questions, just yell out and we'll be happy to help you. Just remember, this is a one-off. Once it's set up, away you go laughing. It's all pretty straightforward from there. So again, remember, this was setting the order, this was adding the products, and that's the pictures, and that's the prices. Thank you very much for watching.